Tonight, an autopsy in focus at a murder trial in Kitchener. New testimony about the death of a woman whose boyfriend stands accused in the case. Picking a new policy.
We get that many people on our farm, we lose a bit of control on who's entering which row.
A tradition with tighter rules after a kind of theft.
We've seen an increase in this locally, I think across Ontario.
That's happening more often. Closing the doors tonight at Cambridge Council.
This is the first time I've ever had to go online in a council meeting because of any type of a security threat.
The incident that's set off a series of security changes.
And that's just giving security a greater opportunity to keep track of who is coming and going.
At City Hall.
Good evening. We begin with new testimony at a murder trial connected to a triple stabbing in Kitchener that happened nearly 3 years ago. A forensic pathologist who performed an autopsy on the accused's girlfriend took the stand today. Meanwhile, questions surrounding the accused's physical state during the trial sidetracked today's proceedings. Now, we should note some details in this story may be disturbing. CTV's Spencer Turcott reports.
Dr. Carolyn Lemieux took the witness stand today at the Kitchener courthouse. She's the forensic pathologist who performed a post-mortem on Dylan Moreira's 41-year-old girlfriend after she was allegedly murdered by Moreira in November 2022. Moreira is charged with second-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted murder for allegedly stabbing his girlfriend's daughter and his own mother, and 2 counts of aggravated assault. As images taken of Moreira's deceased girlfriend during the autopsy were shown to court, Crown Prosecutor Thomas Mack asked Dr. Lemieux about specific wounds to the body and the risk level of those injuries. When court was shown a stab wound to the head, Dr. Lemieux testified an injury to the brain tissue can manifest in a variety of ways, adding it can be fatal. When analyzing other blunt force injuries to the victim's head and neck area, Dr. Lemieux explained they had the potential to cut off crucial blood supply and in turn brain function, saying it would be akin to losing the central processing unit of a computer. Lemieux testified that one injury to the victim's chest appeared to be the most critical and was capable of causing death. Within seconds to minutes, there is concern, she said, later telling court the cause of death was due to stab wounds. During cross-examination, court heard a dog was in the residence at the time of the alleged stabbing, and defense lawyer Stephen Gale asked Dr. Lemieux, "It is possible the dog could have been involved in the assault, correct?" Correct, Dr. Lemieux said. Gale also raising the possibility of a struggle with knives, asking, there may be defensive injuries to both parties? Correct, she responded. The defense was forced to interrupt Lemieux's earlier testimony after Moreira appeared to doze off on several occasions. Gale asked Justice Gibson for some time to chat with Moreira over concerns with his physical condition. After a brief recess, Gale told court the issue with his client has to do in part with antipsychotic medication he is taking which has drowsiness effects. But Gale said, there's no way I'm going to tell him to stop taking his antipsychotics. Moreira told court he was able to continue, and Gale said they will monitor the situation. But Gale did compare the forensic pathology testimony to the type of subject matter that students nod off to during lectures, adding, if I was here without being involved in it, I would be asleep too. Gale said he wants to ensure Moreira is alert and able to comprehend when his girlfriend's daughter is expected to testify on Wednesday. Spencer Turcott, CTV News Kitchener.
A series of thefts has led to a series of changes at a Waterloo Region fall farm attraction. Shoe Orchards says hundreds of pounds of apples have been stolen, so they're tightening up the rules for visitors. CTV's Hannah Schmidt now live with details for us. And Hannah, we should note this is not a one-time incident.
Tony, Shoe Orchards says it's happening often enough. They had no choice but to act, so new signs and new rules are now in place for picking and paying.
And then just pull. Oh, look at that.
It's a popular autumn pastime.
We've welcomed a lot more people onto our farm than in general. In past years, we've had 4,000 people come by this last weekend.
Enjoy the freedom of and the freshness of the air and the farm country living, and enjoy the culture that you're seeing.
Shoe Orchards in West Montrose has welcomed people to pick their own apples for 3 years. But lately, they've noticed a troubling trend.
Myself, I've caught about 250 pounds of stolen goods on 3 occasions of around 80 pounds each. we are erring on the side of conservatism. My staff let me know that they saw a customer group putting apples in the stroller, a blanket concealed about 40 Honeycrisp apples.
So they've brought in new rules. More staff during busy times, caution tape at the end of rows by the main road, and a ban on strollers. And anyone picking apples will have to use a bag provided by the farm.
It takes a lot of labor, a lot of input costs, and that's what's the most disappointing for us, is that, you know, we've seen these apples grow from a bud to an apple throughout our whole growing season. We're farmers, and so it's disappointing.
Police are weighing in too. They say stealing produce, whether it be from a roadside stand or a pick your own orchard, it's still theft. They say if there's enough evidence, charges can be laid.
The Chamber of Commerce says it's a growing problem at farms and small businesses.
We've seen an increase in this locally, and I think across Ontario. In a lot of cases, there aren't the necessary human resources and staff resources available to, provide the security and the policing around these.
A tough cost for farmers to absorb.
For farmers and small businesses to have to try and implement more security measures, it's going to cost them more. And when you're on tight profit margins, that additional cost for security and other measures to prevent theft, that's only going to add to, the losses or the cost.
The farm says the goal is to keep the pick your own tradition alive and fair, hoping a little honesty will go a long way.
We want people to know about our farm. We want people to know about how we grow apples. We work extremely hard to grow this crop. We put everything we have into this, and stealing just has no place in this country.
And once again, regional police reminding everyone that this kind of theft could still lead to charges under the criminal code. Tony.
Hannah Schmidt reporting live. Hannah, thank you for that. All right, time for a first check on the weather on this Tuesday. Let's head over to Ashley Bacon now for all the details. We are basically 1 week from October.
Yes.
I don't think I've often said 1 week from October. Boy, it was hot out there today.
It was steamy. I mean, we've had so much rain over the last few days, Tony. When that sun came out this morning, it really created a hot, humid afternoon. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed what was like a summer, more like a summer condition day than a fall condition day. It's going to continue to be warm over the next few days, but that rain is minutes away from entering parts of our region. As we look at our temperatures right now, sitting at 23 degrees in Kitchener-Waterloo, so above seasonal still. As Tony mentioned, it felt hot. Guess how hot? We have a humidex, Tony, on this first week of fall, I should say. It's sitting at 28 right now, so it is feeling much warmer. The average for this time of year, just 18 degrees. But as for that wet stuff, I'll have more on when and how much we're going to receive coming up a little later in the show.
All right, Ash, thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon. The doors at tonight's Cambridge City Council meeting are going to be closed. The meeting is going to a virtual-only format after what the city calls an ongoing disruption by someone. That includes a concerning voicemail that led to a series of security changes over at City Hall. Let's get live now to CTV's Heather Centerin, who's following this story for us. Heather, this really all unfolded in the last 24 hours.
Monday afternoon, police say they heard about a threatening voicemail which led to a hold and secure at City Hall, and that's why tonight's meeting will be held virtually out of an abundance of caution. Cambridge City Council meets about every month or so for council meetings, but tonight it will be all online.
This is the first time I've ever had to go online in a council meeting because of any type of a security threat.
Waterloo Regional Police say they received a call around noon Monday that City of Cambridge security got a threatening voicemail. The city confirmed that City Hall was placed in a hold and secure that was eventually lifted. Tuesday afternoon, City Hall was open, but with restrictions.
Everyone is being directed in and out of one entrance for the time being, and that's just giving security a greater opportunity to keep track of who is coming and going.
Scott Hamilton has been a city councillor for 5 years. He says the political climate has been changing recently.
You do notice a bit more anger rising online, a few more angry phone calls, angry emails.
But he says he has confidence in the city's ability to handle any security concerns.
Heads on a swivel a bit more than usual. But ultimately, we have to remember that Cambridge is a really safe place. The council chambers are a really safe place, and We want to take an abundance of caution here, but we don't want to stoke any fear or create any impressions that this is the new normal.
The city said in a statement that it is taking proactive steps to ensure a safe and respectful environment for council, staff, and community members.
It's just very important that everyone is keeping everyone's safety top of mind while not impacting the democratic process and the public's access to City Hall and council meetings.
Councillors admit it's been years since they've gone fully virtual for a council meeting.
So it's going to go back to that Hollywood Squares look or the Muppet Show.
Police say there are no grounds for criminal charges, but the person involved has been banned from city properties.
The incident comes after the city announced last week that there would be mandatory bag checks at future council meetings, safety measures that were set to begin at tonight's meeting that starts online in about 20 minutes. Tony.
Okay, virtual for tonight at least. Okay, Heather, thank you. CTV's Heather Centerin with that update from Cambridge for us. A Toronto man suffered serious injuries after an assault this morning in his own driveway. His family says he was attempting to stop two suspects from stealing his vehicle when he was attacked. CTV's Janice Golding reports.
I just broke my nails.
Her physical injuries are minor, but the emotional trauma...
I feel guilty, right? Because I am the one who look at the window and I start making the commotion.
A Toronto woman blaming herself for the injuries her husband sustained after she alerted him to a car thief in their driveway.
I started screaming. When I turned around, my husband wasn't inside anymore. He was already out here, right? And I saw him trying to pull the door, and he opened the door.
At that point, a man got out from behind the driver's seat.
This is when the guy came and started attacking him. And I just remember it was like some kind of a wire like he had on his hand. But
the woman ran at the suspect to try to stop the attack and was pushed over herself, her screams alerting her son in the basement.
He started hitting him with the crowbar or whatever it was to open the car. And then I rushed in and I saw him on the floor, so I wasn't thinking, I just chased him away. I just didn't want my parents getting hurt anymore.
Somehow, this man got scraped up during the chase, which eventually led to the suspect jumping into a waiting black Honda CR-V.
The whole thing's a blur, like it's scary. I don't want to go through it again.
Still, they're light injuries compared to the head wound sustained by this man's father.
They took MRIs or something to see how deep was the wound. I feel really bad. I'm so sorry, but in a way I feel guilty, like I got panic.
And while his mother feels regret, her son feels anger.
It's upsetting, it's scary. Like the fact that this keeps happening to everyone around the city, around the GTA, it's stupid. It's pathetic now. Like these clowns are getting away with it.
That was CTV's Janice Golding reporting. Well, part of the 401 was closed in Elgin County this morning after a transport truck and mobile crane collided. The westbound lanes were closed for several kilometers while police investigated. MTO crews were cleaning up the scene. In a social media post, the OPP said a trucker was trying to avoid a diesel spill. They're asking anyone with dash cam footage or who saw a leaking vehicle, a vehicle that was leaking fuel at around 6 o'clock in the morning, to get in touch with them. Next, a dangerous display on one of Ontario's busiest highways, all caught on camera. The OPP are trying to identify a motorcyclist who was seen performing stunts on the 400 early Sunday morning. That is a motorcyclist riding side saddle at highway speeds in the middle of traffic. But the driver wasn't finished, standing on the bike's foot pegs and then even climbing up on top of the seat to stand up at one point. The viewer who sent in this video said the bike was swerving through traffic as the rider continued to perform these kinds of motorcycle tricks. Now, just like extreme speeding, this kind of behavior does fall under laws against stunting.
That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what he's trying to accomplish. It looks like he's either trying out for the ballet or trying out for the circus. Either way, it's not the place to be doing it on the highway. He's not in any position to take control of his vehicle in any type of emergency situation. It is reckless, it is dangerous, it's irresponsible, it's foolish, and that pretty much describes the driver as I see him. Yeah, I'm disappointed with someone who thinks that's just a way of getting attention, which I guess he was successful, but probably not for the right reasons.
And again, the OPP's Highway Safety Division, which handles patrolling in the Greater Toronto Area's major highways, is still looking into that. We'll start your day in the know with the CTV Kitchener newsletter. We've got the top stories, the latest forecast, and some must-see videos. Sign up over at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Another YMCA is closing its doors. Coming up, why the chapter in Woodstock is shutting down and what it will mean for the community that it's served.
I'm Alexandra Hollick. Also tonight, more than half of Conestoga College full-time faculty get a free exit ticket. What programs may be impacted in the latest round of downsizing? Those details after the break.
Isolated showers and some thunderstorms are starting to pop up now throughout the region. I'll have more details on where coming up.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
Your Kitchener Rangers are back for another exciting season, and CTV Kitchener has your chance to win tickets. Want to see the Rangers take on the Owen Sound Attack October 3rd? Enter now for your chance to win at ctvkitchener.ca.
In its latest effort to downsize, Conestoga College is offering exit offers to more than half of its 700 full-time faculty members. The voluntary exit incentive program targets staff in areas that the college says are at risk of being discontinued because of declining enrollment. CTV's Alexandra Hollick has been looking into this for us and joins us live with more. So, Alexandra, who got the offer and who didn't?
Tony, 373 full-time faculty qualified for the package. While a full list of impacted programs or disciplines isn't public, the union representing affected staff says it's a mixed bag, all in the college's control.
They're spreading a wide net, looking for attrition in order to cut costs.
Cutting costs by scaling back staff, a move that's become all too familiar at Conestoga College.
We are in an existential threat here as a provincial publicly funded college system. We have never seen layoffs or reductions of staff as much as we see here.
The latest round of downsizing offers select full-time faculty members a voluntary exit incentive package, targeting areas at risk of being discontinued due to lower enrollment or financial sustainability.
There are programs that are on the list that don't make any sense.
The union representing full-time staff at the college says those include health and safety training.
All of the counselors and librarians are on the list, which makes me wonder, do they have some plans for further attrition in those very critical areas?
More than half of the college's 710 full-time faculty, librarians, and counselors got the offer. To qualify, they must have worked at Conestoga for at least 2 years.
It's not being offered to all faculty, only a certain group, and that makes those people very nervous, thinking that they're basically on the block.
In a memo sent to affected staff, the college says it's in a period of significant restructuring, including intake and program suspensions and ongoing staff reductions. The main driver, a decline in international student enrollment. As for the exit package, the union says it was asked to provide its opinion.
But it's not part of the collective agreement. They are the college's creation. They are their rules, their game.
Eligible employees have until October 20th to decide. The college will then approve applications, and successful candidates will officially exit their roles on December 19th.
They want to be sure that there's still a critical mass where necessary, obviously. They don't want to completely wipe out all the programs immediately.
All this against the backdrop of a support staff strike, well into its second week.
Support staff are critical to what we do as faculty because in many cases the support staff support us in so many different ways.
Now, it's important to stress that these exit offers are not layoff notices and are voluntary, so the affected staff don't necessarily have to take them. But the union says if all 373 employees were approved to leave, it would be a devastating loss to the college and the community. Tony.
Okay, Alexandra, thank you for that. That's CTV's Alexandra Hollick joining us. The Woodstock YMCA will close its doors next week, all except for its daycare center. It's the latest in a series of closures at the Y. CTV's Sean Irvin reports on the impact and the goodbyes.
Since the early 1960s, the Woodstock branch of the YMCA has been a central hub for fitness, wellness, and childcare. But as the times changed, this aging facility became underutilized and costly to maintain.
Slowly but surely, members are migrating away, and now it's becoming quieter and quieter.
That decline accelerated after confirmation this summer that the branch, except for its daycare center, will close September 30th. The reasons mimic those given for the closure of London's Bob Hayward Y branch in 2023. Aging facilities, private health club competition, and a membership roll of just 300.
It is true that in 1961, other health and fitness options from the private sector weren't available, and so that's a factor that comes into play.
The closure of the YMCA is a particular blow for swimmers in this community. Although the pool here never reopened after COVID-19, this community recently lost the Lions outdoor pool, leaving only one public facility.
Yeah, it's really sad times as far as that goes. The Southside Aquatic Center is now the only swimming facility in the city of Woodstock. And of course, it's an indoor facility for children's lessons and for family swim time.
Woodstock City Councilor Mark Schadenberg, who voted to rehabilitate the Lions pool, wanted the Y to stick around, but not at all costs.
For the city of Woodstock to assist them in their aquatics program wasn't going to be monetarily something that had made sense.
Still, Y officials hope for a return one day.
I still hope there will be, and that in the future, a new era will begin for health and fitness with the Y in Woodstock. I'm hopeful for that outcome.
So is Dave Shakespeare.
I really enjoy the Y, and I would become a member overnight if there was a Y to open here again, for sure.
But with the current buildings soon to be on the market, a brand new facility is likely the only option for a return. In Woodstock, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
And here's a live look outside near the Grand River in Cambridge. You can see that sky has become darker over the last little while. Our live photographer Dave Pettit was just telling us he's been hearing some rumbles of thunder off in the distance in the Cambridge area as well. And the radar certainly suggesting we could be in for a bit of a soaking this evening. Something to keep in mind if you've been planning anything outdoors tonight. Ashley will be back to sort this all out for us in a few minutes. And also coming up, fighting for the best playoff spot. The Toronto Blue Jays open a 6-game season-closing homestand tonight with quite a bit at stake, even though they've already secured the postseason. And later, the fallout from U.S. President Donald Trump's controversial statements about Tylenol and autism. Well, Ashley's with us for a look at our forecast once again, and I was just singing the praises of what a beautiful summer-like day it was.
It was. I mean, there was rain this morning, so I wake up quite early to take my dog out.
Yes, you do.
And there was a bit of rain this morning, first thing, but that subsided and the sun came out, causing quite a bit of heat and humidity, which was quite nice.
Very humid.
But
and
I
now,
just looked out our studios, Tony.
Get ready.
It's dark. It's coming, guys. If
Hope
it hasn't already,
it.
if it hasn't already reached where you are in our region, it's coming. If we take a look back at Galt and Cambridge, you can see those cloudy skies are really coming into play now. And there are some isolated thunderstorms expected to come with this band of precipitation. Now, I will mention that as of this point, Environment Canada hasn't issued any warnings or watches in regards to thunderstorms. That doesn't mean they're not coming. So if you hear the thunder, if you see the lightning, just make sure you take care out there. Still quite warm, though. We're sitting at 22 degrees, considering that 18 is our average for this time of year. It was a very warm one. Looking across southern United States and over to the west coast, still sitting quite cool, quite cooler in that Denver area. But as we get north to where our Canadian brothers and sisters and cousins are, Vancouver 19, 27 for Calgary and Saskatoon and Winnipeg. So quite warm in the prairie provinces. When we're thinking it's fall in September, that is a little unusual. On our east coast, sitting at 15 and St. John's, and 18 in Halifax. Quite warm indeed. Now, this is what we're talking about tonight, all of the wet stuff. So this band of precipitation is now hovering over our region. As I mentioned, if it hasn't already started raining, it's likely to do so soon. I wanted to stop here. This is going to be around midnight. We are expecting another isolated shower that could hit directly over Kitchener-Waterloo again. Now, that might shift in the coming hours, but as it stands, we're looking at another decent isolated shower overnight. So if you're out on the roads through the night, be careful. Now, that band of wet stuff is going to sort of linger with pockets throughout the next 72 hours or so. And we will see, you know, in between moments like today where that sun might pop out for an hour or two, but don't let that deceive you. Lots of wet stuff on the way. We're looking at around another 24 millimeters expected. So as you know, it's rained quite a bit over the last few days. That could mean some potential flooding or, you know, issues around the Grand River or other low-lying areas. Just make sure you keep watch for any further warnings that may be issued over the next day or so. Looking at our almanac, it was 23 today. As I mentioned earlier, 18 is our normal for this time of year, so quite warm. Sun setting at 7:20 p.m., although you would think it's already set. If you had a look out there, it's quite dark. Looking at our 7-day forecast, starting in Waterloo region, showers, as mentioned, continuing tomorrow with a high of 21. But, Tony, by Friday, a peak of sun coming out and 23. And then check out that first fall weekend, 23 and 22 with some sunshine. Now, similar conditions are expected for Lambton, Kent, and Essex. A chance of an afternoon thunderstorm, 21 for Wednesday. The sun coming back out as well on Friday. I'll have 24, and then check that out, 25 and 24 for the end of September. I will take it. That's personally perfect weather for me. Southern Georgian Bay, similar again conditions, around 20 degrees for your Wednesday, Thursday with some showers. 21 for Friday, and another beautiful weekend ahead on Saturday and Sunday. Now let's take a look at our weather watcher photo tonight. Check out that sunset. Ted snapping this photo in Roseville Monday night. He says the sky was ablaze. I couldn't agree more. It looks like a beautiful fire almost.
It's gorgeous.
It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, we were even noticing on the way home last night. It was kind of a like a dusty rose. The sunset.
It was calm before the storm, as they say.
and now a lot of rain coming. And hey, you know, as long as this is all still out of the way by Friday, and we can open up the dome.
Yes, we know you have your baseball game on Friday.
I'll be happy, and Mom will be too.
Too nice.
Okay, thanks, Ash.
Thank you.
Well, turning to some other news now, today the federal government announced implementation of plans for the gun buyback program. It starts with a 6-week pilot project in Nova Scotia before opening up nationwide eligibility later this fall. And today it was the minister responsible who was on the hot seat as he struggled to defend the contentious compensation program. Here's CTV's Rachel Aiello.
Have you not failed at the task of getting this moving faster?
Absolutely not.
The public safety minister faced tough questions today as he unveiled the next phase of the federal firearm buyback.
The opening of the program to individual owners.
A program that he questioned the efficacy and enforceability of in audio leaked just yesterday.
I have absolute confidence in this program.
Then why didn't you say what you said? After a Cape Breton test run, owners nationwide of the more than 2,000 makes and models of firearms that the Liberals have outlawed will be contacted with instructions on how to participate. Those seeking compensation will either be able to turn their firearms over to local police after scheduling a time online, or keep them after proving they've been deactivated by a licensed gunsmith. The public safety minister said the context of his recorded comments were that he wanted the program implemented faster. But now, years after the buyback was first promised, firearms owners have until October 2026 to comply. And critics are calling for Gary Anandasangari's resignation.
On Monday, a minister says that his program won't work. On Tuesday, he says he's going ahead with the program.
The minister also faced calls today from gun control groups to expand the ban, saying unless additional semi-automatics are added, Canada's buyback program will be a waste of the more than $700 million already allocated. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, today at the UN General Assembly, Prime Minister Mark Carney and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky highlighted the abduction of children by Russian forces and why their return must be central to future peace talks. But it was their spouses who shone the spotlight on this war crime. CTV's Judy Trin reports from New York.
At the United Nations, the Prime Minister and President Volodymyr Zelensky called for the return of thousands of Ukrainian children taken by Russia.
Putin has stolen Ukrainian children.
Russia first abducted them and deported them.
Together with our allies. The most emotional pleas came from their wives. Diana Fox Carney making her first international speech alongside her husband.
As a mother, I simply cannot fathom the horror. What these children have endured is more than unjust, it is inhumane.
Their identities are changed, their ties severed, their hopes destroyed.
Canada said it's investing in AI technology to help find the Ukrainian children. Only about 1,600 children have been returned to their families. In his address to the General Assembly, President Donald Trump spoke of his frustrations with the continuing war.
It was supposed to be just a quick little skirmish. It's not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad.
Earlier this summer, during a meeting with Vladimir Putin, Trump hand-delivered a letter from the First Lady calling for the return of the children. Her efforts were acknowledged by Mark Carney in front of European leaders.
We welcome the recent powerful appeal to President Putin by the First Lady of the United States to consider the plight of children in ending this war.
This is an area of common ground between Carney and Trump at a moment when Canada is breaking with the U.S. in recognizing the state of Palestine. Judy Trin, CTV News, New York.
Speaking out about a bad moving experience before it costs someone else. Coming up, the story about a cross-country move gone wrong and a couple's plea to police to take unethical practices more seriously.
Day is back on 105.3 Virgin Radio. Listen to Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben for your chance to win $5,000
every weekday.
$5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
A Vancouver couple saved for years for a cross-country move this summer, all the way to St. John's, Newfoundland. But along the way, they say they became the victims of a moving scam. And their lawyer is warning that police need to take this seriously before it gets out of control. CTV's Garrett Barry reports.
Alex Fox and Max Hill have been living with all of these boxes for months. Last weekend's giant yard sale only made a dent.
We sold about maybe 50% of kind of what we wanted to sell. It was pretty good.
It was their "we got scammed" yard sale, trying to recoup some of their losses. This couple says they were victims of unethical and unfair business practices when they moved from Vancouver to St. John's. Weeks after a company they hired took all of their stuff, they were suddenly told the weight of their items wasn't 5,000 but 8,000 pounds. So they were going to be charged about $3,000 more.
I just burst into tears. I was at a restaurant downtown having lunch and I had to go outside and cry.
It all came on official-looking invoices with supposed documentation from weigh scales, but Alex and Max had weighed every box beforehand. So they say they knew they didn't pack 8,000 pounds worth of belongings. They didn't pay. They hired Toronto lawyer Rocco Scacco, who fought to get their belongings back.
What we've seen now in the last year is that there are companies that are now re-emerging with new names and running the same old scam.
The lawyer says moving scams are slowly on the rise. After police made big arrests in 2022, Scacco says it seems they've lost interest in pursuing this type of behavior.
Now, the company's not worried about getting charged criminally, so they can just continue operating. And it's too expensive to hire a lawyer to fight it well.
We asked the Peel Regional Police, where Alex and Max's items were stored, why they didn't intervene when called. They said they review every case and wrote in a statement some disputes may appear to involve criminal elements, but ultimately fall within the scope of civil law. All told, Alex and Max still ended up paying thousands more than they expected due to legal fees and having to hire another set of movers.
We ended up paying double, and it was a lot of work and effort and saving and intentionality to even save the amount of money we had.
They're trying to put this episode behind them, but are warning others to take exhaustive steps.
They should have waited the day they picked it up and said, oh, actually, it's this much. Would you like us to proceed with the move?
They say even careful documentation and a recommendation from a friend might not totally protect you. Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
Top stories now. Time for a recap with Leanne Evans in studio. And Leanne, today it was day 2 of a murder trial that's underway in Kitchener, connected to a triple stabbing from almost 3 years ago. And there was some new testimony at that trial today.
Right, Tony. A forensic pathologist who performed an autopsy on the accused's girlfriend took the stand today. Today's proceedings were sidetracked, though, over concerns about the physical state of the accused, Dylan Morera, who nodded off at points. His defense lawyer told court it has to do with the side effects of his antipsychotic medication. The trial is expected to continue tomorrow. A local farm is changing their policy in order to protect their crop. The owner of Shoe Orchard says roughly 500 pounds of apples were taken without payment. They've now put caution tape at the end of each row and will no longer be allowing strollers, wagons, or backpacks in the orchard. And anyone picking apples must only use a bag provided by the farm.
And Leanne, online tonight as well, taking a look at what our digital team is working on. Waterloo Regional Police looking for help identifying a wanted man.
He's wanted on criminal harassment and weapons charges, Tony. It comes after an incident that happened at Frederick and King Streets in downtown Kitchener around 4 p.m. Monday. Police now releasing a photo of 38-year-old Justin Sinclair. You can get a closer look at that photo and read more about the investigation. Scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or go to ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
All right, Leanne Evans recapping our top stories and what our digital team is working on as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, now we're going to get to some international fallout from yesterday's announcement by the President of the United States, which suggested a link between autism and Tylenol use by pregnant women. Well, the World Health Organization says the evidence is inconsistent and is urging caution about drawing conclusions. There are similar concerns being raised by health officials here in this country. CTV's Katie Griffin reports.
Natasha Heron is ready to welcome baby number 2 any day now.
I am definitely feeling 40 weeks pregnant.
When she was sick early on,
I did have to take Tylenol. Again, relying on the recommended dosage, what researchers have proven to be safe is what I always fall back on.
U.S. President Donald Trump taking aim at the over-the-counter pain reliever, saying pregnant women shouldn't take Tylenol, making unproven claims linking acetaminophen to autism.
I think any political leader or any one in a leadership role should provide messaging and support good access to information. So relying on that medical evidence as opposed to, feelings and suspicions and maybe assumptions.
The language we're hearing from the United States right now is very stigmatizing to the autism community. It's very dangerous.
The president of the Ontario Autism Coalition says the rhetoric is reckless.
First of all, telling pregnant women to tough it out through pain and fever during pregnancy is extremely dangerous. To parents, particularly mothers of autistic children, they are going to start being blamed for their children's autism. And autistic people were referred to as something broken and in need of fixing, and that is not true.
In a statement, the makers of Tylenol say we believe independent, sound science clearly shows that taking acetaminophen does not cause autism. We strongly disagree with any suggestion otherwise and are deeply concerned with the health risk this poses for expecting mothers. Experts say the evidence is clear.
When you look at the evidence in its totality, the overwhelming consensus is that Tylenol is safe during pregnancy. It is probably the safer alternative.
That report from CTV's Katie Griffin. While it's one thing to make the postseason, it's quite another to get a top seeding for it. So much at stake for the Blue Jays over the next 6 nights. We will set up a crucial 6-game homestand right after this break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, this is it for the regular season. The Toronto Blue Jays are back on home turf, ready to begin their final homestand of the regular season. 6 games over the next 6 nights. Of course, they're chasing the division title, and it begins with a 3-game series tonight against the Boston Red Sox. CTV's Raheem Ladani has more on the excitement and the anticipation of postseason baseball.
Call it Toronto's playoff prelude. And this group of ladies have traveled from Nova Scotia for a front row seat to the performance.
We want them to be in first place. That's why we're here, to cheer them on.
Yep, bring them luck.
Meanwhile, these fans from Prince Edward Island are excited to
seeing the Blue Jays pitch, seeing Miles Straw play.
The Jays secured their first playoff berth since 2023 over the weekend, but with 6 games left in the regular season, still have plenty to play for.
Play the game, have fun, and try to win it all.
The team is looking to lock up the division title, which they last accomplished a decade ago.
It's been on our bucket list. Yeah, we wanted to come and see them play.
I feel comfortable. I think they're going to do it.
The Blue Jays' magic number is 4. Meaning any combination of Jays wins and New York Yankees losses over the next 6 games would earn the Jays the division title, bypass the wild card series, and go straight to the ALDS.
Proud of them. I am a Red Sox fan, yes, but they are the only Canadian team in Major League Baseball, and I'm rooting for them, kind of.
And when Boston fans are cheering for Toronto, you know the Jays have sparked the city. Even the fire department's on standby.
All right, the anticipation is building. Now let's check in with Omar over in the national newsroom for a look at what's coming up later tonight.
Tonight, surging stocks despite tough times.
Every time we hit one of these milestones, like 30,000, everybody always asks the question,
what's behind the disconnect between Bay Street and Main Street? We'll have that story and more later on CTV National News.
Although the risk of thunderstorms is expected to last for the next few hours, rain is anticipated throughout the night. But what will tomorrow morning look like? I'll have those details coming up. What better way to spend a rainy night than start off with E-Talk at 7 o'clock, followed by The Big Bang Theory and The Voice at 8, and then back-to-back episodes of High Potential.
It's Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning.
3 awesome people that want to start your day or finish your overnight shift.
You'll laugh, you'll text, you'll call, you'll scratch your head, and maybe even beat Backstage Ben. Weekday mornings from 5:30 to 10.
Listen live on the iHeartRadio app or at 105.3 Virgin Radio.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
All right, let's check in with Leanne one more time now to find out what's coming up a little bit later tonight. Leanne.
Well, Tony, we're following the Cambridge City Council meeting tonight after it was moved online to a virtual-only format after what the city calls an ongoing disruption by someone. That includes a concerning voicemail that led to a series of security changes at City Hall. Tonight, a number of delegates set to speak and participate online. We'll have more on that at 11:30. Tony.
Okay, yeah, certainly a situation we'll be following up on. Leanne, thank you so much. Appreciate that. And Ashley's back with a look at our wake-up weather for tomorrow, which is probably going to involve, I'm going to just put it out there and say, some puddles.
Surprise, surprise. It might be a little bit damp in the morning.
Could be.
Yeah, so if you're like me and get up early, be prepared to put on your rain boots and maybe a winter, or not a winter jacket, rather a light wind-breaking jacket, because it is still going to be quite warm, Tony. Above seasonal conditions, 6 a.m. already 16 degrees, so very comfortable there. Light rain expected. Now 10 a.m. cloudy with some scattered showers. So as I mentioned earlier, Tony, you're going to see pockets of rain and showers throughout the day, but you're not going to see it
totally consistent. So don't be, alarmed if you step out and it's maybe sunny or dry for a few hours. You still want to have that umbrella handy because it's not going away anytime soon.
What seems clear, though, is that a run tonight is out of the question.
I mean,
or a walk.
It might be just a little bit damp.
Yeah.
As long as you don't mind being a little bit damp, then you'll be fine.
I get it. You're like, don't say I didn't warn you if you get soaked.
It'll be warm,
yes.
so comfortable in that sense, but it is going to be wet.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, good to know.
Yes.
And finally for us tonight, NASA says the flight taking a Canadian and 3 other astronauts around the moon is on track for launch next April, and it actually could potentially even be moved up to February. This is pretty cool.
This is so cool. London, Ontario's Jeremy Henson is among the crew for Artemis 2, which should last about 10 days. It is part of a mission that will return humans to the lunar surface for the first time in more than 50 years, Tony. How cool is it that a Canadian is going to be a part of that groundbreaking mission?
Now, I'm getting flashbacks because it was just over a year and a half ago when they did the fly past for this. It was kind of they were checking things out ahead of time to make sure they'd be able to actually do this Artemis mission, which is coming up now. And I remember the excitement that night among people who were watching this closely, just to think, okay, we've passed this hurdle.
It's very cool.
What could be next, right?
This is very neat. And who knows, maybe Mars next.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal one day, right?
So
we are on the verge of some exciting stuff. Looking forward to watching it.
Absolutely.
Speaking of exciting stuff, go Jays
go
tonight.
Jays.
Yep. Put those Red Sox away.
We want to win the American East.
Yep.
Right? That's the right words.
Oh, you've got it. You've got it. We want that top playoff seeding.
Go Jays, go.
Krista Simpson's here with you at 11:30. Have a great night.